Okay, so let's try to sketch the graph of this ellipse. It's x squared divided by 144 plus y squared divided by 25 is equal to 1. Okay, so on the graph we also want to label the vertices and the foci. Okay, so first thing you want to check here is, well, the plus here tells us that this is going to be an ellipse, right? So it's not a minus or something else. Also, we see an x squared term and a y squared term here. Okay, you notice that essentially in the numerator, right, it's not something like this, right? Okay, so that means we're not shifting this ellipse left to the left or to the right. Okay, so what this means is that the center of the ellipse, okay, the center is going to be at 0, 0, okay, which is just the origin. Okay, so we'll do the center at 0, 0. Right, the next thing you want to look at is the numbers in the denominator, right? The numbers below the x squared term and the numbers below the y squared term. Okay, and whichever number is bigger, that is always a, right, for an ellipse. Okay, the bigger number is always a. Well, it's actually a squared, right? So if a squared is equal to 144, right, then a is going to equal 12. And similarly, that means the smaller number is b, right, or b squared. So b squared is equal to 25, which means that b is equal to 5. Okay. Another thing we have to note is, where is the bigger number located, right? It's beneath the x term. Okay, so that means the major axis, okay, the major axis or the longer axis will be horizontal. Okay, so essentially you can think of it sort of like a football, but laying, I guess just laying regularly, right? It's not going to be a football that's laying on its pointy end essentially. Okay, so now we should be able to sketch this actually, right? So, the center's at 0, 0. In this case, it is the origin. Okay, the major axis is horizontal and a is 12. Okay, so that means we're going to go left to right 12 units. Okay. So here is 12 units to the left. Here is 12 units to the right. Okay. What is b in this case? B is equal to 5. So what does that mean? Right, B is called the minor axis. In this case, we're going to have to go up and down, right? 5 units from the center up and 5 units from the center down. And then we can draw our ellipse, right? So once again, an oval or a football, if you will. And we notice that the longer axis is the x-axis, right? So that's called the major axis. Okay. So in this case, the vertices would be at 12, 0. And negative 12, 0. Right? Those are the vertices. Okay. So just a quick little note here, these are not vertices right here. Okay. So the vertices lay along the major axis. Okay. Now what about the foci? How do we find the foci? So there's a formula for that, right? C squared is equal to a squared minus b squared. Okay. So in this case, c squared is going to equal 144 minus 25. So c squared is equal to 119. Okay. So in this case, c is going to equal the square root of 119. Right, so remember, the foci are located c units away from the center on the major axis. Okay, so radical 19, we're just going to have to eyeball that, right? It's about a little less than 11, so between 10 and 11. Right? So then what does that mean? It means the foci are going to be located about somewhere over here, okay, and somewhere over here. Okay? So the foci, essentially we can say plus or minus radical 119, 0.